Happy Labor Day. It's me again, Steve, from Texas Vapors Life. Today I've got another review to do for you from SMOK. It's a wonderful little kit. It's a what they call pins or stick mods, all in ones. There's a lot of them coming out. This one though you hadn't seen. This one is called the SMOK Brit 1 Mega Kit, and it has a 24.5 millimeter tank, which is 2 milliliters. It's got top airflow. It goes down the top, down through the coil, and up through the chimney. It does have adjustable airflow right there. It's a pretty good little Cyclops type of adjustment. The whole tank does screw off. It's got a 510 pin, so you can put other 22 or 24 milliliter tanks on it to your liking, but this one's it just fits it. It's just a tiny little tank. There's the tank, and here's one of them tiny little Mr. Good bars, so you can see it's a little bitty one. I just kind of like to give y'all a reference. This one is, they've linked it with a misub, MISUB plus battery. The battery life is a 2000 mAh battery, and it lasts pretty much like between 4 and 5 tanks with this tank that's set up. This is a dual coil setup on it. It does come with a extra glass. It comes with extra O-rings. The drip tip is not 510 compatible, and they don't have a thing in there, but it's just perfect for the mod. I turn the button sideways because you can't get your lips over the air control or airflow holes there, or slots, and kind of close it off. But I just turn it to the side like this because they're lined straight up right there. If I don't grip my tank down real tight, but it's pretty much in line with the button, which is right there. And it's kind of a fat, chunky little dude, but it's the same as the Vaping 22. It's the same size as far as tallness or height, but it's bigger round. It's 2.5 millimeters bigger round. And this one can be closed off, and I guess you can get a mouth to lung for newbies, but these are really designed, I can tell, for they're in intermediate or advanced. They use the Brit coil for the Brit tank. I know they've got the Brit tank on, or Brit 1 Mega tank on a couple other mods out there, but this one is another one that just fits great in the pocket. I do like to keep those vape bands on there because the round ones had fumbles, and they seem to roll right out of your hand. So, and with that being said, I'll just take a vape off of it. It's not quite as heavy as the other one. I think this one has a 0.04 ohm Kanthal dual coil, and it's rated for 20 to 50 watts. So I guess when it's fully charged up, this puts out somewhere in the neighborhood of 50 watts or more, depending on your ohms. It all has to do with voltage and ohms, is how much wattage you're going to pump out of it. The kit comes, it says, with one misub plus battery, and one Brit sub tank, 24.5 millimeters, one B2 pre-installed 0.4 ohms Kanthal dual core, and then it has an extra B2, that's the Brit 2, yes, Brit 2 Kanthal dual core, and they say that the best flavor and everything is coming out of them around 30-35 watts, so half of the battery life is supposedly, but it pretty much is the same to me. I can tell it cutting off, power when it's just about to run out, which is like between 4 and 5 tanks for me. It does come with an extra replacement glass tube. Comes with a USB cable, a user's manual, and spare parts. And I've also put it in my pocket and laid it on the bed, on the table, everywhere else. This is the jacket. They always make a nice little jacket to go on the boxes. I know everything's backwards. Trying to get my video set up and all of that, but I'm still going to make y'all some videos. We're going to do this thing. Comes in a nice little smoke box. There's where your battery sits in your tank, and it comes pre-installed. It was very clean. Wasn't a fingerprint on it. No machining oil. Didn't smell funny. Anything. So I left the coil in there. Filled it up and charged it, of course, and because I wanted to see if it would start leaking. And the first thing I did was to go ahead and put some liquid in the end of it. Here's the little coils, if you can see them. I'm trying to get my setup where I can get down close with my camera. Here's the coil. That would be the top, and as you can see right there, the center part, that's your chimney, and then on the outside of it, on the outside of the ring, is some air ports, and they go through there and mix with the juice that's coming in and go right back up out. So it's more like one of the newer it is an actual top flow setup. So some of them say they're top flow, but it's just a hole in your drip tip, and I hate that because it just lets a lot of cold air in it and messes up your flavor all. So anyway, but that's the coil, and it's a SMOK Brit 2 or B2, and it tells you the wattage, and It's Canthal. They do have stainless steel ones that go with this. I'm not sure if any of the other ones work like this one do, but it's got, instead of the pin and all that stuff, this one has just the that's the bottom, and you see that's where it hits your battery to the 510 connector sits on top of it inside the tank, which is a really great setup. It's got everything that the big boys have, except it's a tiny little thing. A nice new little glass, a charging cable. I must have 50 of those micro USB to USB charging cables. They give you, looks like 4 or 5 different O-rings, replacement rings, and of course the do not eat silica gel to keep everything from rusting up in those humid environments that are out there. We had a hurricane out in Florida this weekend, and I think it's still going. It comes with a verification card and a nice SMOK manual here. And there it's got everything about it, and tells you every part of it. Top cap, dip tip, base, micro USB port. This one is a press fit also. You cannot change the battery. Well, under warranty you can change the battery if you know how, but that's for advanced people. I would be willing to say it takes like probably I'm just guessing I don't know, I'd just be guessing. I'd just have to look at the size of the battery a year or two from now when it burns out. But if you take care of them and charge them fully, they don't memorize. A good lithium battery does not memorize. The best thing to do is charge it all the way up. Don't take it out of the box, because they can't ship them, and it's not good to ship them or store batteries at full charge, which is 4.2 volts. So most companies charge, ship, and store batteries between 3.2 volts and 3.5 volts, and they recommend 3.5 being the max. This charges at 1,000 or 500. It doesn't have, it just got the plug, so if you plug it into your computer, most of them are 1 amp. As usual, most people know this, but the slower you charge the battery, of course the longer it takes, but also the longer the battery life is. So it's good to fully charge them and fully empty them. If I'm going somewhere, I go ahead and plug it in and charge it all the way up. And I've also gotten to where I carry the small little chargers, because they're getting littler and littler. And I bought one yesterday that has 2,600 milliamp hours, and it'll fill either of these two up, and many others. So it's a good way to not have to carry a whole bunch of batteries and a bag full of juice and all that. If you just get you a small juice bottle, I like these little 30 milliliter Gorilla bottles, whatever you want to call these things, because I like the tips, and they don't leak in your pocket, and they don't have the rubber and all that to, get ripped on something or whatever. anyway, that's what it's got in the box. And it's a very nice little kit. I'm really enjoying it. It is like I say, you can use it as mouth to lung for those of you who are just looking for something to quit smoking. And I'm really glad I started vaping, even though there's still some people that in my family that think that, you know, vaping is just terrible and it's going to harm you because of all the negative propaganda that I'm going to say the big tobacco companies and the pharmaceutical companies put out. Funny thing is I was reading that the biggest tobacco producer is China. So I don't know, I guess we're talking American big tobacco because they're pretty scrupulous. And they are buying up small manufacturing companies and juice companies left and right. Not really juice companies, because they know that if they leave it as is, people are not going to be able to, you know, pay for each individual flavor to be tested, each individual nicotine level. It's just ridiculous. It's never going to. You'd have to work the rest of your life to pay for, you know, 2 or 3 flavors, and they know that, and it's ridiculous. And it's just a corporate takeover. It's issued out by the government, and it's sad that my son of 8 years old, fixing to be 9, will never get to live in the America that I grew up in. I was born in the 60s. It was a wonderful time, other than the Vietnam War. Anyway, on with that. I can get on. I can really start going on and on about different subjects. In this one, I'm vaping on some cinnamon vanilla custard from Capella's. And myself, I mixed it. It's a do-it-yourself mix, which is, most of them are. I like it that way because I know exactly what goes into it. So, let me have a vape. Yeah, you can get a mouth to lung hit out of it, and I've got it wide open. So that would work just good for either. Unlike the other one, that it's really just a straight direct lung hit. But I thought this was just the cutest thing in the world, and I thought, you know, I just got through fixing my son-in-law's because he dropped it in the glass. It was one of the competing companies, but the glass was buried in it was all press fit down in there. So I put it all back together and had to push it out, and it was just a real chore. So the way that SMOK has put theirs together is A+. I give them thumbs up on it, 100%. There's really nothing bad I can say about them because they work really well. The only thing I would like to see would be the ability to change your battery. I know they just want to sell, you know, what they call disposable type units. I guess that's what they consider these, but when the battery does go out, I will unpress fit it. I will pull the pieces apart and change the battery and do a little soldering and give it new life. So I used to do that on the Egos back in the day. The day for me was 2009 is when I started vaping. And I cheat vaped. I smoked cigarettes and then I puffed on cig lights. And I said, now this is ridiculous. I'm buying these cigarettes at $5 a pack, and I'm also buying these cartridges at the little filter things that lasted. They were supposed to last the length of 2 packs or 3 packs of cigarettes, and they actually lasted about a couple of hours, and they just didn't cut it. So I went to an Ego style, which most people stepped up one, and started modifying them because that didn't quite do it either. So I started educating myself a lot more on ohms and batteries and electronics and how these actually worked, and coil building and everything else. So I started modifying things, and if that's what we have to do to keep vaping, then that's what I'll do. I won't pay $200 for a little mod like this, or $50 or $25 for a replacement coil or anything like that. So as I've said in my other reviews, I'm definitely for rebuildable. Most everything that I own has rebuildable coils, coils that you can change. The cotton is what they're designed for, but I just pull the ends out of them, like the Kanger coils. I pull the little rubber, the silicones out of them, and rebuild a new coil and wick it up, and they work just great. Same way with the Joytech stuff, and right now I'm on SMOK stuff, so I've got quite a list. I'm going to go ahead and take another vape, and I'm going to read you my list of upcoming videos, and there is a bunch of them. So you may see me do 3 or 4 in a row, and change to another product. But I'm gonna review all my products, new and old, because a lot of the older products are coming out of the warehouses, and they're selling them out because they don't want to be stuck with them. They want to keep fresh stock out there, and they've got plenty of one representative from China, from one of the bigger companies, told me that they had 2 years. If they introduced one every other day, they had enough new mods and tanks that they could introduce one every other day for the next 2 years, and still not get through all of them. So they're going to keep making their money. They're threatening in China to completely ban vaping and manufacturing and everything else. And what this is all a big, it's a ploy to drive the demand, because the supply far outweighs the demand. So they're trying to just drive the demand way up and get more and more people to use vaping products, which are everyday, especially when people find out that it can work, provided they don't have allergies, and that they can actually fathom the idea. A lot of people just still like that burning cigarette smell. I've gotten to where I don't like it. I don't like the way it smells, but I really never did. I didn't like my clothes or my truck to smell like cigarette smoke. When I started vaping, I had to throw away half of them. Anyway, here I go on another tangent. I will do that from time to time. I'll try not to, waste your time, but I do like to talk. So I'm going to read you my list. My review lineup is the Brit Mega Kit. I've done that. the Vape Pen 22 from SMOK, the SMOK or SMOK Cube Mini 75 watt mod, the Joytech eVic Mini 75 watt mod, it's had the upgrade on it, the Wismic Relo RX200, which has had the newest firmware put on it, and it's now a 250 watt device with all the TCR settings and all that. And also the Wismic Relo RX200S, same thing. I did the upgrade, and I love the big screen on that. The same with the Joytech. Most of all the Joytech devices and a lot of the SMOK devices, they have a big screen and you can read it, and I like that. I'm not so wild about some of the lights flashing and all that, but I'm a little old for that, and I don't want to create a big scene. Blowing big smoke clouds in public and flashing lights, and I just don't want to draw that much attention to it. And I hope even young people don't want to do that, because we want as good of an image as we can as vapors. Anyway, the next would be the Wismic Noisy Cricket, the original one, the dual 18650 series mod, which is just a really wild little unit. And the Vapors Clouds Mega Tank, and I have the 30 millimeter that holds 13 milliliters of juice. The Super Tank version 1, Kangertech Sub Tank Plus version 2, 24 millimeter, 6 milliliters of juice. The Kangertech Original K-Box 40 watt mod, still working great. Heat Vape Invader 50 Mini, or Invader Mini 50 watt temperature control. That's the second one. They had one that didn't have temperature control. The Pioneer for You IPv5 200 watt TC with the SX Pure technology. The iJoy Tornado RDTA. The UD Belarus RTA, which is 22 millimeter, 4 milliliter. And it's a small little RTA, but it's quiet. It doesn't whistle or make any noise really whatsoever, and it just really gives a good vape. The Horizon Tech's Crixus rebuildable ceramic coil sub-tank, the Kangertech Kneebox 60 watt TC all-in-one mod, the Velocity V1 RDA, Anakin misub, my original Lava Tube V3. After the Egos, I went and I got a Lava Tube version 3. And I thought that was really something. I went to the restroom in the morning, very early in the morning, about 2 in the morning. I thought I'll take this with me and have a vape. Dropped it right down the toilet. And yes, I did grab it. So it was just for a few seconds, but they... anyway, I washed it off real good and dried it, let it hang upside down and dry it for like a day, and then made the mistake of taking a hairdryer to it and heated it up, and the glass fell out of it and stuck to the board. Still works just fine. No problems out of it after 4 years now. Anyway, that's another story. I still have an ego, even after 2 wildfires burned the houses down. I've got a, what is it, Zero, I think they're called. The Big Dripper version 2. It's a clone. I guess it's a clone. They made it different than the original Big Dripper, and I have the authentic Big Dripper that just drips out of the side of the top cap. The other one, I believe it's Zero or ZX, SX, something like that. Big Dripper has a small little tube that comes out right in the middle, so it drips right in the middle of the two dual coils. Or you can move it, I guess. The Earl Clonigan style tank, the Venturi RDA, the Vault RDA, Cats RDA, and the Omega RDA. Some friends of mine had some other stuff, and hopefully some of the wonderful manufacturers out there will enjoy my videos, my Texas style redneck videos, and send me some more stuff for review so that I can take it out in public and show people and do reviews and put them on Facebook and get them some more business, because I am totally against this putting people out of business, because they're putting Americans, Chinese, people from all over the world out of business. It's just ridiculous. And we really need to fight back about the government telling us how to live life and taking away rights, and especially our right to work and make a living. It's just getting really tough. Anyway, this has gone over 30 minutes, so the review was from the SMOK Brit 1 Mega kit, and as Phil would say, Phil Basordo, thumbs up. Yes, I do have that's permanent. It's not a blister, it's a callus. But anyway, cranked up thumb there, thumbs up. Almost looks like a thumbnail, doesn't it? But here's to you. Vape on. To all you vapors and all you going to be vapors and don't know it yet, or those that are wanting to quit smoking, find somebody that knows a little about vaping and give it a try. It works. We definitely know cigarettes will kill you, so this whole deal about kids and all this, that's just crazy. So, and we all know that. So, from Steve at Texas Vapors Life, I wish you a very good day, and I hope you have a wonderful Labor Day holiday. And until next time, well, I'm out.